Right now, somewhere in a rural village, an entrepreneur is sitting in a small room learning for the very first time how to calculate the profit margin on the goods they sell.
Which is a huge milestone.
Oh, absolutely.
Hmm.
And the exact success of that single isolated lesson isn't just, disappearing into the ether.
Right, it's actually being tracked.
Exactly. It's tracked, verified, and uploaded into this centralized digital brain that spans more than 100 countries. So today, we're opening up the International Labor Organization's SIYB Gateway.
Yeah, the gateway.
For you listening, whether you're staring at your welcome screen for the first time or you're prepping for your next level as a business trainer, this deep dive is your definitive guide to the architecture of global entrepreneurship.
We really have to start by framing the sheer scale of the operation you're plugging into when you log on to this platform. I mean, SIYB stands for Start and Improve Your Business.
Right.
And we are talking about one of the largest entrepreneurship training programs in human history.
It's massive.
It is. This initiative has trained over 23.7 million entrepreneurs.
Wow. 23 million.
Yeah, and it's facilitated the creation of over 10 million jobs worldwide. So the gateway is basically the nervous system of all of that activity.
Got the nervous system, yeah.
Right. It's the paperless management system that tracks all that global training data, issues the official licenses, and, distributes the resources that keep thousands of trainers operating on the exact same standard.
Okay, let's unpack this,
Mhm.
because it's really tempting to look at a platform like this and just see a static database.
Oh, for sure. Just a filing cabinet.
Exactly, a place where you drop a digital file into a folder and just forget about it.
Mm.
But a system handling 23 million people simply can't be static.
Yeah.
I look at the gateway as almost like a biometric global passport for business trainers.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, because every certification you log is a stamp. But those stamps are cryptographically verified by your real-world actions.
Mm.
Without the right stamps, properly vetted, you simply can't travel to the next level of your career.
That is a highly functional way to view it. And just like navigating international borders, you can't simply declare yourself a master trainer.
Right, you can't just print your own passport.
Exactly. You have to prove it through a very strict sequence of actions within this system. It's really about establishing a verifiable identity within this massive ecosystem of trust.
So let's start with establishing that identity. Say I've been approved to join the program by my local organization. I'm standing at the front door.
Okay.
Give me the welcoming overview. How do I actually get into the building and, set up my space?
Well, the initial onboarding is entirely automated, mainly to ensure security. Once your registration is approved by an administrator, you'll receive an auto-generated email directly from SIYB@ilo.org.
Okay, so look out for that specific email.
Yeah, don't let it go to spam. That email contains your unique activation link. You follow that link, set your case-sensitive password, and then you log in using your email address as your username.
Pretty standard stuff so far.
Great. But immediately upon logging in, you're presented with a highly adaptable interface. Up in the top right corner, you can actually switch the entire platform language.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it natively supports English, French, Spanish, Vietnamese, and Arabic.
Wait, let me pause you there. Because if I'm, say, a trainer operating out of rural Vietnam and I switch my entire user interface to Vietnamese, our sources note that the dates and the automated system emails still remain strictly in English.
That's true, yeah.
Doesn't forcing English date formats create a massive friction point for non-English speakers? I mean, why not localize everything?
It does create slight friction on the user end, I won't deny that, but it's a necessary trade-off for global data integrity.
How so?
Well, consider the back-end architecture required to synthesize data from 100 different nations. If dates were localized into dozens of different regional formats...
Oh, right, like day, month, year versus month, day, year.
Yeah, exactly. And some using entirely different alphabetic representations for the months themselves. The reporting algorithms that aggregate all this global data would constantly misinterpret the timelines.
It would be a total mess.
A total mess. So by standardizing numeric fields and dates in English, the system guarantees that a training session logged in Colombia aligns perfectly on the timeline with a session logged in Kenya. It ensures the global reports are actually accurate.
So the localized interface is for user comfort, but the standardized data entry is the anchor that holds the whole global network together.
Precisely.
I can see the logic there.
Mm-hmm.
So once a new user is in and they have the language set, their immediate instinct is probably to start filling out their bio.
Yeah. Contact info, address.
Right, and declaring whether they're an independent trainer or affiliated with a partner organization. But I want to talk about user psychology for a second, because there's a notorious massive mistake new users make right out of the gate.
Oh, you're talking about the confusion between the Profile tab and the Training tab.
Yeah.
What's fascinating here is how one simple data entry misunderstanding can completely throw off a trainer's official record. It's perhaps the single most common data entry error on the gateway.
And it creates massive administrative bottlenecks, right? But why do people get this wrong so often? When you look at the interface, the two tabs seem fundamentally distinct.
It really comes down to the behavioral economics of user onboarding. When an ambitious professional logs into a new network, their immediate psychological instinct is to showcase their impact.
They want to flex. They want to build their resume.
Exactly. So a new trainer clicks on their personal profile, they see a highly visible button that says Add Certification Entry, and they think, this is where I record the incredible 3-day workshop I just taught to 50 local farmers.
So because they want to show off their teaching prowess, they log the course they delivered in the very space that the system reserves strictly for the training they received.
You nailed it. The profile section is essentially your own personal education history. It is 100% dedicated to the qualifications you are building for yourself.
So if you taught a class to entrepreneurs, that data belongs under the completely separate training tab.
Right. And when a user incorrectly logs a class they taught under their personal profile, the gateway's logic assumes the user is a student requesting 50 separate certifications for taking the class themselves.
Oh, no. That's hilarious, but also terrible.
It is. Master trainers then have to go in manually, untangle the mess, delete all the duplicate requests, and instruct the user to re-enter the data in the correct tab.
Okay, so the distinction is vital for anyone listening. Profile is for your own learning. Training is for your teaching.
Remember that, folks.
Let's assume our listener avoids that trap. Their profile is immaculate. They want to actually log the training they received so they can climb the ranks and get certified. Walk me through the step-by-step process of registering those new training certifications.
Okay, so you start by navigating to your Profile tab and clicking Add Certification Entry.
Easy enough.
The system will then prompt you to select the training type you attended. For example, you might select TOT, which stands for Training of Trainers.
Got it.
Next, you have to specify the exact curriculum package you were trained in. The Gateway categorizes these into core modules. You have GYB, SYB, IYB, and EYB.
Okay, let's hold on the alphabet soup for a second.
Fair enough.
We can't just list acronyms without understanding the architecture of the curriculum.
Yeah.
For the listener trying to grasp the scope of this, what do those actually represent in the real world?
Think of them as the sequential life cycle of an enterprise. Let's say you have an entrepreneur in a rural community who wants to make agricultural tools, but they have absolutely zero business experience.
A total beginner.
Right. GYB, Generate Your Business Idea, is the foundational phase. It's entirely about brainstorming market feasibility and figuring out if the idea is even viable.
Okay.
Once they have a solid idea, they move to SYB, Start Your Business. This module covers the gritty logistics.
Like what? Legal registration.
Yeah, legal registration, finding initial capital, setting up your basic daily operations.
So they have the shop open. Then what happens?
Well, then they usually encounter the growing pains of a functioning business. That's where IYB comes in. Improve your business.
Improving the supply chain and stuff?
Exactly. Optimizing supply chains, basic inventory control, marketing strategies to just survive those first few years.
Right.
And finally, if the business thrives, they enter EYB, Expand Your Business. This is really advanced territory. We're talking exploring franchising, scaling production, or maybe even international export.
Wow, so it's a full spectrum.
It is. And because these 4 stages require vastly different skill sets, a trainer can't just teach them universally. You have to log your certification for the specific package you were trained to teach.
That adds so much more weight to the data entry. You aren't just selecting a random acronym. You're defining exactly where in the economic life cycle you are qualified to intervene. So I select my package. Let's say I was trained in Start Your Business. I search the system, select the specific master trainers who ran my workshop, input the date, and hit submit.
Okay.
Am I officially a certified trainer at that exact moment?
You are not.
Wait, really?
Really. And this is the most critical quality control mechanism within the Gateway. Hitting submit after your initial workshop only generates a certificate of attendance.
Ah.
You do not yet receive the final certificate.
I love this distinction. It's the equivalent of passing your written driving test.
Oh, that's a good way to put it.
Right. Like you sat in the classroom, you memorized the road signs, and the state acknowledges you understand the theory of driving. But they aren't going to hand you a license until you prove you can parallel park in moving traffic.
That is a highly accurate functional analogy. If we connect this to the bigger picture, this two-tiered system ensures quality control, meaning an SIYB certification actually holds weight internationally.
So what's the parallel parking equivalent here?
Well, the certificate of attendance merely places you in a probationary pipeline. To earn the final certificate, you must execute a rigorous series of real-world implementation guidelines.
Like what?
If you're aiming for your Master Trainer certification, for instance, you have to leave the classroom and actually conduct your own training of trainer session.
In the real world?
Yes, you have to independently follow the strict SIYB training cycles. You must provide ongoing documented technical support to the new trainers you're mentoring, ensure they register correctly in the Gateway, and then compile a comprehensive final case study proving your impact.
And the Gateway tracks all of these probationary requirements.
It absolutely does. Only after your real-world application is verified by the administration does the system unlock the final certificate.
And what's the tangible reward for that?
For master trainers, generating that final document triggers the Gateway to issue a globally recognized official license number. And that license is valid internationally for exactly 3 years.
3 years. Okay, but let me play devil's advocate here.
Go for it.
If anyone can just log in and hit submit on these requirements, what is stopping someone from faking their credentials? I mean, a centralized office in Geneva can't possibly verify if a trainer in an Indonesian village actually provided technical support to their mentees. How does the ILO police this global network?
They police it through a philosophy of decentralized trust, and that's facilitated by strict access rights within the platform. The system forces local accountability.
Explain that.
So if you are a master trainer, your most important responsibility exists in the Administrative Tasks tab.
So the master trainers act as the gatekeepers for their specific regions.
Exactly. Inside that administrative tab is the certifications approval section. When a trainee hits submit on their certification request, it does not go to the ILO headquarters.
Oh, it doesn't?
No, it lands directly on the digital dashboard of the specific master trainer who taught them.
Oh, wow.
The master trainer must physically review the request. They are the ones who weed out those duplicate entries we discussed earlier. But more importantly, it's their professional reputation on the line.
Right, because their name is attached to it.
Yes. They must personally verify that the trainee met all of the rigorous field requirements before they click the confirm button to grant the final certificate.
Okay, let me challenge that structure. Let's imagine a scenario where a master trainer goes rogue.
Okay, a rogue master trainer.
They have all this approval power over their region. What stops them from just approving all of their friends who haven't done the work? Or worse, just logging into their own profile and endlessly renewing their own 3-year license so they never lose their status?
Well, that scenario is exactly why the Gateway's code enforces a rigid, 3-tiered hierarchy of access rights. It functions very much like a corporate franchise model.
How so?
At the foundational tier, you have the trainers. Their access is highly restricted. They can edit their personal profile, they can log the training they received, and they can input the data for the entrepreneurs they taught.
But they can't approve anything.
Right. They can't even see the Administrative Tasks tab.
Okay, so their only job is to focus on local impact and personal development.
Exactly. Then you move up to the second tier, the master trainers. They're essentially the regional branch managers.
The ones reviewing the requests.
Yes. They have the capability to see and approve the specific trainees operating directly under them. They can approve local loans, returning to your franchise analogy, but they do not have the keys to the corporate vault.
Ah, so they can't mess with the core system.
Right. They cannot alter the foundational architecture of the platform, and crucially, they absolutely cannot renew their own licenses.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Who holds the keys to the vault then?
The global and super admins.
The top tier.
Yes, these are the top-level ILO staff and lead IT administrators. They possess total visibility over the global network. They can add or edit any member's profile across any country.
Wow.
They control which national modules are active, and they are the only individuals with the access rights to click the relicense button for a master trainer whose 3-year credential has expired.
But wait, so if I'm a master trainer and my 3-year license expires, I can't just renew myself.
You cannot.
How does a global admin sitting in a corporate office know whether to click relicense for a master trainer halfway across the world? Like, what is the mechanism of trust there?
Verifiable data. The global admin doesn't just click the button as a courtesy. The Gateway's architecture requires the master trainer to have proven logged training activity consistently over the last 3 years to justify the renewal.
Oh, so the receipts have to be in the system.
Exactly. If the data shows you haven't been actively feeding the ecosystem, your license remains expired. The system demands continuous, verified participation.
It creates a brilliant cycle of accountability. If you aren't actively doing the work, your biometric passport is revoked.
Right.
So, taking a step back, we have thousands of branch managers and trainers inputting mountains of data. They're approving certifications, logging every single workshop, verifying field studies.
A ton of data.
Where does all of this data actually go? What is the ultimate payoff for the listener meticulously logging their hours and for the global organizations funding this?
The ultimate payoff is absolute transparency, and that is access through the platform's Reports tab. By organizing this data, global admins and master trainers can generate highly sophisticated regional progress reports.
So it's not just a basic spreadsheet.
No, we are not talking about a superficial headcount that just says, we trained 500 people in Brazil this year.
Because the demographic data you have to input when you log a class is incredibly specific.
Right. It tracks demographic nuances that most systems just ignore completely. When you generate a progress report, it aggregates exactly how many trainees came from highly isolated rural towns with populations under 1,000.
That's incredibly granular.
It is. It provides exact numbers on how many participants were youth under the age of 35. It breaks down the exact gender representation across every single curriculum package delivered.
This is absolute goldmine for international NGOs and governments.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of throwing grant money at a region and hoping it works, they can look at a verified progress report and see exactly which demographics are being elevated by the training.
Exactly.
But reach is only one part of the equation. What about the quality of the education? Does the system track if the trainers are actually, any good?
It does. The Gateway also permanently logs trainee satisfaction.
How do they get that data?
At the end of these local workshops, the participating entrepreneurs fill out paper-based evaluation score sheets. Those evaluations are calculated, and the scores are uploaded directly into the Gateway's database.
Okay, so there's a permanent record.
A permanent, immutable record of a trainer's performance, ranging from a score of 1, meaning unsatisfactory, up to 5, meaning excellent.
So what does this all mean for the everyday user listening right now? It means that your individual effort in a small classroom is being permanently recorded and proven on a global stage.
Your impact is undeniable.
But a healthy ecosystem can't just extract data from its users, right? It has to provide nourishment in return.
Absolutely.
And that leads us to the most practical tool on the platform for a working trainer.
You're referring to the documents library.
Yes. Because before systems like this existed, business trainers in developing regions were often forced to rely on, 10th generation, faded photocopies of training manuals that were 20 years out of date.
It was a real problem, but the documents library entirely eradicates that. It's not just a digital textbook, it's an open source, globally synchronized architectural blueprint for business education.
So it's a living library.
Yeah, any verified user can navigate to the library and download crisp, official, high-resolution PDFs of the exact training manuals they need. And the search functionality is highly refined.
How does a user actually navigate it effectively? Let's say I'm looking for something specific.
You can filter the entire database by language and specific subject matter. So if you're preparing to teach a module on costing or people and productivity,
Right.
you don't have to search through hundreds of irrelevant files. You just apply the filters and instantly pull up the authorized, flawlessly formatted version in French or Arabic or Spanish. You are always teaching from the master document.
The implication there is massive. It guarantees that a trainer in Peru and a trainer in Senegal are operating from the exact same playbook, maintaining the global standard.
That's the goal.
But the business world of today looks radically different than it did even 5 years ago. I mean, how does the library prevent its materials from becoming obsolete?
By constantly adapting to the modern economy. The ILO utilizes the library to push cutting-edge resources directly to the front lines.
Give me an example of that.
Well, they recently integrated the SIYB guidelines. This provides trainers with the exact frameworks, software recommendations, and pedagogical strategies required to conduct these intensive modules entirely online.
Which is essential for modern resilience, especially after the last few years.
Precisely. It allows the education to survive global disruptions. The library also features the Green Business Booklet, introducing modules on how microenterprises can mainstream environmental sustainability into their daily operations.
Oh, that's incredibly relevant.
And most notably, they have just released the Digitalize Your Business module.
Okay, what does that cover?
This equips trainers to teach rural entrepreneurs how to leverage digital marketing, e-commerce platforms, and modern supply chain software.
So they aren't just learning basic bookkeeping. They're learning how to compete in a digital world.
Exactly.
When you synthesize all of these elements, from avoiding that whole profile tab trap, to navigating the strict probationary certifications, to understanding the decentralized hierarchy that enforces global trust, to pulling the latest digital marketing manuals from the library, the true nature of the gateway becomes clear.
It really does.
It isn't a filing cabinet. It's a living, breathing ecosystem. By mastering this platform, you aren't just completing an administrative chore. You are actively becoming a verified node in a massive network of global economic empowerment.
Every data point you input, every workshop you log, and every demographic you track fundamentally builds a clearer, undeniable picture of how micro and small enterprises are reshaping the economic landscape of the world.
Which leaves me with a final, somewhat provocative thought for you to ponder. We have explored how this centralized platform can track the exact demographic impact, the rural outreach, and the specific score-verified success rates of a single business trainer operating in an isolated village.
Yeah, the data is incredibly robust.
So if this global data is so incredibly granular and so heavily verified by the master trainer hierarchy, wait, no, let me rephrase that.
Yeah.
If the data is this good, could a system like the Gateway eventually be utilized to create a global stock market of educators?
A stock market of educators.
Yeah. Imagine a future where the most impactful trainers on the ground are directly crowdfunded by international investors, based purely on their flawless, publicly verified Gateway metrics.
Wow.
It makes you realize that carefully logging your data today isn't just about preserving your past. It might just be the currency of the future. Something to think about the next time you log in. Until next time, keep diving deep.